Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to kind of do like another video essay type thing. This one I'm not actually going to go into like in-depth lore shit about whatever I'm talking about. I just wanted to talk about something that I did recently. I'm a nerd, for those who cannot tell by looking around my room. I know it's a little hard to tell because I have a new camera set up. I've got a bunch of little, that's all cologne and shit over there. I've got my Dragon Ball mug right here. I've got some little Dragon Ball figurines over there. I've got a Dragon Ball poster back there. I love anime. Anime's sick as fuck. If you don't like anime, you're a pleb. No, I'm kidding. I don't give a shit. I like a little bit of everything. So I understand if you're not into it, believe me. I fucking love anime, and I grew up with anime a lot. My mom, the very first anime I watched when I was like 12, 13 years old was, I think, Princess Mononoke, and that's because my mom was actually really into the older Studio Ghibli movies. We watched Princess Mononoke together. We watched Spirited Away together, Howl's Moving Castle. Two of those movies completely traumatized me as a child. But I love those movies. Those are really good movies, and it began my obsession with anime. I wasn't able to watch a lot of like full-length anime shows when I was a kid because I just didn't have access to it, didn't know when they came on, didn't know where to start. But growing up, we had Adult Swim, and most anime aired on Adult Swim really late at night. So when my dad would go to sleep, I would get up and I would go watch anime. Around this time, there were a few anime that showed up. There was Hunter x Hunter. I wasn't super into that, but I watched it because it was a cartoon. I was into it. The fight scenes were sick. Attack on Titan came on a few times, and that was bedtime. As soon as Attack on Titan came on, it was bedtime. Even older, the way the body works, the way the bodies work in Attack on Titan, I just cannot do it. The body horror of it is just fucked. It's so disturbing. I can't do it. The reason I brought up Dragon Ball is because I watched not a lot of Dragon Ball, but by the time I was a kid and it started coming on Adult Swim, Dragon Ball Z Kai episodes were showing up fairly frequently, and I could not watch them in order, but I always watched them when I did see them come on, and it began my absolute obsession with Dragon Ball. If you could also see my desk as well, I have two Dragon Ball mats, one that I've got my little keyboard on right now, and then one that's Goku going Super Saiyan Blue, and that's my mouse pad. The first show of Dragon Ball that I fully watched through was Dragon Ball Super, because it was the first show I had access to. I didn't start paying for my own streaming apps until fairly recently, so I didn't have Crunchyroll. But I had Hulu, and Dragon Ball Super was on Hulu. So I watched Dragon Ball Super with my friends. Me and my friends watched Dragon Ball Super because we all knew what Dragon Ball was, but none of us never actually watched any shows, which kind of feels pretty fucking indicative of the actual Dragon Ball fan base. Most people don't really read the manga, they don't really watch the anime. It's like you see clips show up every once in a while, and that's your information for the show, it feels like. Watched Dragon Ball Super all the way through. Loved every second of it, because it's the first Dragon Ball show we watched. We had no frame of reference. It was incredible. We loved it. The voice acting was great. The art style was okay. I didn't realize how capable the studio was until I watched the Dragon Ball movies. Watching Battle of Gods and Resurrection F compared to the actual show as movies, holy fuck. I don't know if the movies just had a better time frame, had more budget, but god, the movies are such better animated. The choreography is way better. The fucking... I might have to put up a side-by-side comparison right now. Just the Vegeta fight. Vegeta beating down on Frieza in Resurrection F is 10 times better in the movie than it is in the anime. Oh my god, some of the animation style is just so stiff.
You of all people should know this about me, but I don't share Kakarot's taste for forgiveness. I'm sending you back to hell.
Ha ha. Your threats are as empty as your title. All hail Vegeta, Prince of No One.
In some of those earlier episodes, like, it's hard to think that Resurrection F was an early episode, but fuck, they were. The animation is so much stiffer in Dragon Ball Super than in some of the earlier episodes, or in some of the earlier series. The reason I'm bringing this up, and I'm talking about Dragon Ball Super, because, like I said, my first introduction to it, into the actual show. When Dragon Ball Super ended, I was a little upset. Yeah, I was a little upset. I'm like, fuck. Tournament of Power was sick. I want to see more Ultra Instinct. Or I want to see more Goku. I want to see more Vegeta. Vegeta was my fucking favorite character. I love Vegeta in Super so much. He's a family man. He's a hard ass. He's just a badass character that refuses to yield to Goku. And I loved it so much in Super. I fucking loved it. So I started looking for ways to get my Dragon Ball fix. As soon as I got my Nintendo Switch, I bought Dragon Ball Z Fighters 2. Which, let me just say, a horrible, terrible story. You play just the first arc of the story, and it's like, it's pretty chill, it's decent. You play the second arc of the story, and it's like, it's just kind of a rehash of the first arc. You play the third arc of the story, it's the same fucking story, just from 3 different perspectives, and they don't really change anything at all. It doesn't change the outcome, it doesn't change the end, it just changes who you are and who your allies are. Which was a little disappointing, but I got to see some of my favorite characters again. And then there were, I went through another Dragon Ball drought, and I downloaded on my phone Dragon Ball Legends. For those of you who don't know, Dragon Ball Legends is like a kind of like a gacha style arena fighter, but for Dragon Ball. It's cool. It's pretty fucking cool. You pull heroes and all this shit. It's really fun. They actually create a character for it. The main character is Shallot, an ancient Saiyan who has a rivalry with the Hooded Saiyan throughout the first few chapters until he finds out that's his twin brother. And they're both ancient Saiyans that are like converging. They converge on a world that is the future current Dragon Ball Super world. It's a little confusing, or maybe I'm just terrible at explaining it. I sound crazy. Fighters from all areas gather on the current Dragon Ball Super Earth. So you see current Goku, you see the current Z Fighters, Beerus, Whis, they're all there. It's cool. It's really cool because it's like 14 chapters. I'm in the Cell Saga right now. And because you're taking all these fighters from all these areas, you actually get to play through each Z arc separately. It's the first one was the Frieza saga, or like the introduction to the Frieza saga. And then the Android saga, and now I'm in the Cell saga. And there's all these other ones after it. The Boo, there's fucking, I see Broly in some of the later chapters, like, holy fuck. So they kind of follow the formula of Dragon Ball, but only Z through Super, it seems. They're following that formula. And yeah, it's not unique, it's not a story that hasn't been told before, but that was my first introduction to the Z story. Was that game. And it's fun to be able to play through it and see the unique experience that was Dragon Ball Legends, because this might be a weird way to put it, I was not tainted by the original formula, so I had no basis to go off of. I just could appreciate art for art. And what was a good game? Shallot's my favorite character. I love not only do I love playing as Shallot, is I also like that ancient Saiyans and current Saiyans have not changed at all. Their priorities are exactly the fucking same. Fight and eat. That's it. And I do like that. That's really funny to me. As I got a little bit more knowledge about Dragon Ball, especially from the Dragon Ball Legends games, which does keep the story of these characters, it does keep the personality of these characters. It's like, okay, I like a lot of these characters. Where can I find more content about them? Again, I still couldn't afford. Well, I could afford probably. I didn't have a banking card. I didn't have a bank card, didn't have a credit card at this time. I'm still young. I'm like 15 at this point. I go on YouTube and I start watching like clips from all this shit. I start looking at all this stuff, and then I start seeing fan dubbed stuff. I get introduced into abridged series, like not just abridged Dragon Ball. I get introduced into the abridged anime world, and that's such a fucking flip. Just, oh my god. The abridged anime world is incredible, and it's hilarious if you've watched an anime and want just a laugh out of a really serious anime. I think TFS has like a Helsing dub. It's fucking hilarious. But also, if you don't have time to watch an anime, watching the abridged version of it, in a lot of cases that I've seen, they actually keep like a similar structure to the story. They keep a similar breakdown of the story. They just make it more comedic, and it's all fan dubs. It's funny, it's hilarious, and some of the story elements are like bead for bead the fucking same. They don't change too much. It doesn't, from what I've seen. Dragon Ball Abridged was the first abridged series that I fully watched, Dragon Ball Z Abridged, on Team 4-Star. Team 4-Star is the grandpappy of abridged anime shows. They're for a reason, they are fan-fucking-tastic. The voice acting, the passion, you can hear the actual talent and effort that they put into their voice acting. It starts off a little slow. With the Saiyan saga, it's like, the audio quality wasn't great, but it picks up quick. It picks up quick.
Really? Do you hear that?
I feel that.
What the devil is that noise?
Ah, time for a delicious sports drink, huh? The heck is that?
Purgatory. Hell. Denise? Denise, do you hear that? Oh god, is that my wife? Leave me alone! You already took the kids! What more do you want?
Alright, Mom. Once that time machine is done, I can go back into the past to save Goku and my father. Daddy?
The writing is really good, the jokes are pretty fucking funny. All throughout, Dragon Ball Z Abridged was me watching the Saiyan saga through the Cell saga. And I've watched it like 6 times maybe. I will continue to go back and watch the Dragon Ball Abridged show because it's incredible. It's a fan-made project with so much love and passion in it, and you can tell that there is so much love and passion in it. It's fantastic. It might be one of the best fan-produced projects of Dragon Ball at all that I've seen. And then they splintered off and they started doing HIFL, Home for Infinite Losers, which also I love. Introduced me to Devil Artemis as an animator, and I started watching Devil Artemis' Cell Versus. If you've watched any of that, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. It's awesome. I fucking love it. I just like to laugh. I love dumb shit. And then I started actually having an appreciation for Dragon Ball Z through that. Dragon Ball, I started understanding the impact that it not only had on the fans, but me personally. I saw that just my one obsession through Dragon Ball had introduced me to so many creators, so many games that I love so much. Introduced me to Salad Say and introduced me to Carthos Dojo, DB Hype, Mugstick. All these people I was following now because they built their platform off of talking about something that they loved, and they were talking about something that I loved. And I found them, and fucking it's incredible. It's incredible what anime can do. And not just Dragon Ball, like, because of my obsession with Dragon Ball, you know, I find One Piece, I find Naruto, I find all these other anime, I find Dandadan, I find Seven Deadly Sins, the first 2 seasons specifically are really good. You know, I'm introduced into all these other forms, fucking Demon Slayer, alright, all these other forms of art and expression, but Dragon Ball continues to be my number 1. And this is with me being exposed to 1/3 of the entire series. That's how impactful some of these characters are, and how cool the show in itself is. You can shit on Super all you fucking want. Super is incredible, and you can go fuck yourself. So recently, very recently, I actually decided I want to appreciate where this show came from. So I downloaded Crunchyroll, I got a subscription going, and I started watching Dragon Ball. OG Dragon Ball. Holy fuck. There were some funny, goofy, silly haha moments in Dragon Ball Super. I didn't know Dragon Ball started as a comedy. Like, you watch OG Dragon Ball, and you feel the comedic roots. It's all, there's joke characters everywhere, and there's consistent, pretty funny jokes overall. Some of them didn't age as well as others, but overall, it's a funny show. And it's long. It's a long, funny show. The point of Dragon Ball is the point of Dragon Ball is the adventure. It's a completely different anime than Dragon Ball Super is. It's adventure, it's fun, it's exploration, it's world building, rather than just fighting all the time. It's the vibe is just so different. And if you've never watched the original Dragon Ball, but you were introduced into later shows, introduced to Dragon Ball by through later media, more recent media, you need to go watch the original Dragon Ball show, because not only is the animation actually fucking good for how old it is, the animation's good, the voice acting is pretty good, and the characters are well written. Not only are the characters well written, but the villains, oh my god, the villains are awesome. I fucking love the villains of OG Dragon Ball. I love that this starts Goku's reputation as the guy who, if you're a villain and you're looking for world domination, or you're just a bad guy in general, you're gonna become Goku's best fucking friend, and that's on Kami, alright? I want to just talk about some of the introductions to some of these characters in Dragon Ball. Yamcha, first of all, if you've only watched Dragon Ball Z through Dragon Ball Super and not watched OG Dragon Ball, and you're gonna dog on my boy Yamcha, you can go fuck yourself. I did not have the respect for Yamcha that I should have until I watched Dragon Ball, or OG Dragon Ball. Sure, he kind of becomes a pathetic lump in Super, and he's a little attention-starved, but that's okay. Yamcha is a desert bandit that Goku finds. He finds him in the desert, and Yamcha, at this point in the series, this is his first introduction. Him and Puar are best friends. Puar is a shape-shifting flying blue cat that kind of just, even throughout Dragon Ball, doesn't really have any significance. She has some. She is Puar a boy or a girl? I think Puar might be a boy. I think Puar has like so little significance throughout most of the series, except for when Goku finds Oolong. But we'll talk about Oolong in a minute. Yamcha is the fucking GOAT. Completely. Yamcha is a badass throughout all of Dragon Ball. Alright? I mean, no matter, he might get outclassed later on. That doesn't matter. Alright, dude? Not only is Yamcha just fucking absolutely a powerhouse, equal to Goku, at this point, stronger. Wolf-Fang Fist, also, when he yells that out, oh my god, I love when he yells out Wolf-Fang Fist. That's fucking cool. I love him. I love OG Dragon Ball Yamcha. He has all the love that he deserves. He's a cool character. Throughout both of the world tournaments, he's able to actually show off and be an integral part of the story. He doesn't win either of the tournaments, because the first tournament they show, Jackie Chun decides to come in and be like, I'm a badass, and I need to teach these boys humility, so I'm gonna do. Jackie Chun is just Master Roshi in a fucking beard. No, he has a beard. He's in a wig, and he's in some cool little suit. I do like the character of Jackie Chun when he's characterized by Master Roshi. It shows when he shows up in the first world tournament and defeats Yamcha. By that point, he might have already been a student of Roshi, but both Krillin, Roshi, and Yamcha entered that world tournament, the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai, I think. Let me see. Yes, okay. I'm glad I double checked. It is the 21st World Martial Art Tournament, the Tenkaichi Budokai. That is where Jackie Chun first shows up, already having been a champion, the 13th Tenkaichi Budokai. I do want to talk about Master Roshi a little bit. As far as Jackie Chun goes, Master Roshi is the biggest fucking joke character in the entire series, the most unserious motherfucker that there is, and this is the first showing as Jackie Chun that he actually has a brain inside that fucking skull and can use it. He understands how powerful Goku is, and how young he is to be that powerful. He's like a fucking 12-year-old that is equal to his master that can blow up the moon. So he's like, okay, I cannot let this kid get out of control. I need to be able to enter this tournament to ensure that I can show Goku that there's always someone better. There's always someone stronger. You need to be humble, and you need to have humility. That's an important part of being a martial artist that Master Roshi wants to hammer into Goku at this point in the series. And I think this is another character that I didn't appreciate in Super that well until the Tournament of Power. Throughout all of Super and most of Dragon Ball, Master Roshi's this joke character, there to be taken unserious until he needs to be taken seriously. He's wise, and he's able to outmaneuver people that are far stronger than him just because of his wisdom. His wisdom and his battle experience help make up for what he lacks in strength. He's a 300-year-old man who can't keep up with his young students anymore, but he's got that noggin, and that's what allows him to outpace other fighters. Anyway, back to Yamcha. Yamcha is awesome. Fucking awesome. I'm gonna keep saying he's awesome until about... He's, first of all, a really good character. He's an incredibly nice guy. He just kind of... He comes off as kind of weird and distant with Bulma. He really likes Bulma, and he wants to treat Bulma well. But he has social anxiety. Dude's fucking anxious. He doesn't know how to approach a girl, doesn't know how to talk to a girl. Which is why he becomes friends with Goku at some point, because he wants to wish to get over his fear of talking to women. Which... It's fucking relatable, bro. He wants to get over his fear of talking to women. He's a really, really nice guy. Yamcha... Oh, Yamcha, you sweet summer child. Yamcha decides... Well, he's awesome. He's able to keep up with Krillin, Krillin and Goku, which to this point, the youngest rising martial artists in the world. In the fucking world. So the fact that he's even able to keep up with Krillin and Goku is a feat in itself. And he kind of lets that go to his head. During the 22nd, that's the one Tien wins? Yes. During the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai, Tien Shenhan, Triclops, comes into the picture as a main antagonist and a villain. He's a villain. At this point, he is straight up a villain. He wants to kind of kill people and assert his dominance and kind of prove his strength. I am skipping over other villains right now. I can go back and I can talk about... I'm gonna have to go back and talk about one specific villain. That's because Tien is tied to him. Mercenary Tao. Mercenary Tao is the brother of Shin, who runs the Crane School, which is where Tien Shenhan comes from. Tien Shenhan wants to get revenge for Mercenary Tao because Goku kills Mercenary Tao. Goku kills Mercenary Tao because he was hired by the Red Ribbon Army to kill him. I'm assuming you guys know who the Red Ribbon Army are. The most reoccurring villain through Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Most reoccurring villains, because they show up in the Android Saga, it's the Cell Saga, it's fucking Dragon Ball Superhero, or Dragon Ball Super Hero? Is that how you say it? Whatever. They reoccur a lot. They're very important. They're hella important in Dragon Ball because they want the Dragon Balls. It's only later revealed that the leader of the Red Ribbon Army just wanted to grow taller. I think you and Frieza would get along, bro. Anyway, Goku continues to get in their way, preventing them from collecting all the Dragon Balls because Bulma wants the Dragon Balls. And Goku wants to get the Dragon Balls for Bulma. And at this point in the story, for being a kid, Goku does have a moral compass. He has a pretty strong moral compass. He knows what a bad guy is. He knows that killing's wrong. And he knows you shouldn't be selfish unless you're his friend Bulma. Then it's okay to be selfish. He'll still call her out on her bullshit, though, which I like. So the Red Ribbon's army is like, fuck, we gotta take care of this kid. Someone's gotta kill this kid. You know? This is just too much. So they hire Mercenary Tao to go kill Goku. You gotta kill Goku. We need him gone. Fucking gone. All right. And they're like, yeah. Or Mercenary Tao's like, yeah, I'll kill him. No problem. The strongest person that was shown at the point, he rips out a they're like, oh, we're gonna get you a plane, you can go over there. Nah, too slow. Plane's too slow. He rips out a pillar, throws the pillar like a football, jumps on top of the pillar, and rides it like a surfboard through the fucking sky.
Let's see, 1,400 miles. I should be back in about 30 minutes. Huh?
This guy's a crackhead. This guy's an absolute fucking crackhead. So he lands over by where Goku is right now. Mercenary Tao zips over at Korin's tower. Murders this young native boy's father, who is protecting a Dragon Ball right now. Fucking just dead immediately. And this guy was shown to be pretty fucking strong, and he was like able to catch bullets or some shit. He was able to dodge bullets. He was a pretty because the Red Roman army rocked up with automatic weapons. Rocked up with automatic weapons, and he beat their ass with a fucking boar spear. All right. This guy was not a pushover, and he fucking blows through the army. Mercenary Tao comes over and makes him look like a baby. Eventually, Goku shows up and is like, "Hey, you're a bad guy." Promises to get vengeance for the boy's father, and then dies. Goku dies for like five minutes. I would give it 5 minutes. Anime timing is a little weird, especially when it's in the episode. He dies for probably like 5 minutes. Mercenary Tao dips and he's like, "I dead. Got it." So he dips, gets new clothes, because Goku put up a decent fight for a kid against a heavily trained mercenary. And then Goku pops back up to life with literally no explanation at all. No fucking explanation. Eventually, it gets back to the Red Ribbon Army that Mercenary Tao didn't actually kill Goku. And then they're like, "Hey, bro, you didn't hold up your end of the bargain. This kid's still alive." He's like, "Hey, man, ain't no fucking way. No one survives me. I have 100% KD ratio, alright? Alright? Don't fucking come at me with that bullshit, okay?" So then he goes to check and he's like, "Alright, fine, since you insist and won't pay my ass until it's not even about that. He just wants to make sure that his reputation's intact. He has a fucking reputation as a merciless mercenary. So he goes, double checks, and then gets mollywopped by a 12-year-old. Obliterated. For most of the fight, it seems like it's pretty even, but Goku's kind of holding back. It's not even close. Mercenary Tao gets absolutely obliterated. So that's the basis for that. Back to Ten Shinhan. Ten Shinhan was wanted to be like Mercenary Tao. He was being trained to kind of succeed Mercenary Tao in a way, or become a more ruthless, brutal version of Mercenary Tao, which I don't know how the fuck that happens. Like, good luck with that and being able to control that. Goku already at this point has experienced some of Ten Shinhan's ruthlessness and how willing he is to discard friends or things he just sees as objects to actually getting what he wants. Once you're useless to him, he'll get rid of you. And that's Ten Shinhan's current mindset. So he is straight up a villain at this point. The rivalry begins with Yamcha and Tien, because they're gonna have to fight each other eventually before Goku will. And Yamcha's like, hey, bro, Goku, don't even worry about it, dude. If he's as bad as you say he is, if he's as tough as you say he is, he's gonna get through this tournament, he's gonna get to me, and I'm gonna put that boy in his place. I'm gonna put that boy in his place. And at this point in the series, Yamcha has every reason to be overconfident. One of the only people who has, like, put him down has been Jackie Chun. Not many people are on his playing field. It's like Krillin and Goku, and Master Roshi's maybe a little weaker than Yamcha at this point. They blow through the tournament. It's a wash, you know. Goku, Krillin, Yamcha, they've all undergone intense training, and they are now powerhouses. They're as strong as they're gonna get. At this point, they've done everything they need to do to ensure Turtle School victory in the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai. And then it gets to Tenshinhan and Yamcha. And it seems like it's going to be pretty fucking close. I believe this is the point where Yamcha busts out his brand new technique, the Spirit Ball. I want to see... Is that... No, never mind. I just fed you guys misinformation. He has not made the Spirit Ball yet. God, it's for being the first show in the series, it's like 175 episodes, and I should have made a script. I didn't make a script. I'm kind of just talking out of my ass right now. But I am checking to try to make sure that what I'm saying is correct, viably correct. But the fight between Tenshinhan and Yamcha, they're fairly close for most of this fight. Eventually, it is shown how outclassed Yamcha actually is in this fight and how far above Tenshinhan is. Tenshinhan is the strongest person at this tournament, only rivaled by Goku, and that's debatable. You kind of see the brutality and the mercilessness of Tenshinhan in this tournament because he is dog walking Yamcha throughout the entire fight. And he decides he's going to end the fight by fucking breaking his leg in half. I mean, not like sever. He fucking like elbow drops into that leg and it's gone. It's done for. It's fucking gone. And you see the brutality in it. No mercy. Kind of like Cobra Kai bullshit. He's fucking on one. And the end of this is... The ending of this tournament is kind of when Tenshinhan starts realizing that what he's doing is wrong. He gets a respect for Goku after winning by chance the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai, because they start flying up into the air. Whoever hits the ground first is gonna lose. They're literally fucking like skyrocketing towards the city. 12-year-old Goku fucking slams into a car, hits the ground milliseconds before Tenshinhan does. So it's all by luck. And Ten starts to realize like mercy and respect rather than fear. And it starts his character development. Yamcha, I just want to say again, Yamcha is not bitter. I mean, Yamcha has a little bit of resentment because this dude has to go through like 2 years of fucking physical therapy to recover from how badly Tien broke his leg. It was rough. he fucking just fucking snapped it in half, obliterated his, probably tore some tendons. He probably had to get surgery and then go into physical therapy just to make sure that nothing healed incorrectly. But when it came down to it and they need to team up later in the show, there's a mutual respect. Tien apologizes. It's like, I went too far. I'm sorry. There is a respect that Yamcha holds for him as a martial artist. You know, he's strong. He's strong and he has good techniques. He respects him as a fighter. And, like, the entire Turtle School's like, hey, dude, just fucking come back, alright? Or just come to us, alright? We'll be your friends, we'll be your family, and you'll get so much stronger if you hang out with us. Because we're cool. Oolong, pretty much the exact same fucking character that he is in Super. Just a huge pervert, all there for comedic relief. It doesn't really get shown in Super. Oolong is a shapeshifter as well. He gets introduced as a huge, like, dictator tyrant because he turns into these giant monsters and just, like, kidnaps girls. But it also turns out the girls love taking his money and are all just spoiled housewives. They're not even housewives. They don't do, like, the trad wife shit. So yeah, I guess they are just all spoiled housewives that sit and don't do anything, so he has to keep going out and intimidating and getting money to support his, like, 6 or 7 wives that just sit in his mansion. And that's pretty funny to me. That's pretty funny. You want to kidnap some girls, and then they all turn against you, and they form the wife union. They unionize against you, who their husband, kind of. There's not a lot of really big villains throughout Dragon Ball. It's a lot of little villains and small antagonists, a few of which become some of Goku's best friends throughout the rest of the shows. There are some bigger villains, like Tien Shinhan. He was a villain for a whole arc. Mercenary Tao, he was a villain for a whole arc. The Red Ribbon Army was kind of consistent villains throughout most of the show. Piccolo, I think, is like the next big villain. Demon King Piccolo. I love Demon King Piccolo. Old Demon King Piccolo is so cool because he's just the embodiment of all things evil, terrible, and he's a slug man. He's a Namekian slug man. They don't know he's a Namekian yet. They think he just comes from the demon realm. They don't find that he actually the nameless Namekian who he was before he split from Kami came from Namek. You know. So bro never even came from the demon realm. Dude was not the Demon King. He was not the Demon King. But he terrorized Earth like 300 years ago. Terrorized Earth like 300 years ago, back when Master Roshi was actually young and would have been a lady killer. I like young Roshi. The origin of Demon King Piccolo, I don't know what his origin was. He kind of just popped up out of nowhere one fucking day and decided, this planet's mine now, and then started conquering, and then started barfing up babies. Yeah, they literally, like, egg sac, the throat expands, and then egg, and then the tambourine comes out. Picture of tambourine for those who don't know. Krillin dies. This guy does it. I didn't do it. This guy did it. Krillin dies. Goku's livid. Fucking gets his ass absolutely handed to him by Tambourine, one of Piccolo's children. It is eventually revealed that, and I do, like I was talking about earlier, Master Roshi actually being involved and actually having wisdom. It's like, this is the oldest enemy of the entire planet. 300 years ago, this guy was a menace to me, my master, and old Shin. Shin is, once again, the leader of the Crane School. Apparently as old as Roshi. They're both like 300 years old. Both knew King Piccolo when he first came around. And the reason Shin is evil is because King Piccolo killed their master. And he's like, this weak shit ain't for me. He was our master was caring, and look what happened to him. Now we need to be tough. We need to be strong. But even though the master was killed, was able to seal King Piccolo away for 300 years in an electric rice cooker, I think. I didn't talk about this. Can I just throw up like a picture of the Pilaf gang or something like that? Throw up like a little picture of the Pilaf and his boys. Emperor Pilaf is shown a little bit in Dragon Ball. Holy fuck. These guys in the OG show are some of the most reoccurring antagonists, and they're not even a threat. They're like almost never an issue. They're just there to serve as like kind of filler. They just get in the way, introduce another plot point. They're the MacGuffin of Dragon Ball. Yeah, they really are the MacGuffin of Dragon Ball. Which really comes in handy for the King Piccolo saga. I don't know why they thought this would be a good idea. They released King Piccolo so that he could rule the world, and then Emperor Pilaf was like, yeah, if King Piccolo decides to take over the world, he'll be grateful enough to give us like a plot of land or some shit. No. First of all, they quickly realize how actually ruthless, merciless, and a complete fucking asshole that this King Piccolo guy is. And they begin to start regretting their decisions. Whatever. They don't actually try to get anyone to help with this. Like, hey, we introduced a worldwide tyrant. Help. No, they don't give a fuck. They just kind of got to deal with it. And this always concerned me. Roshi, your master died. I think this is a plot hole that I kind of have my own beef with. Roshi, your master died. Okay? Your master died to trap King Piccolo in an electric rice cooker. Why the fuck did you let that go out of your sight, my boy? My boy, why did you... My boy. I don't know. Bury it under 16 tons of fucking, I don't know, like concrete. Bury it 300 feet in the fucking ground. A mile under the most secure fucking protections. Give it to the FBI. Give it to the fucking world government to ensure, hey, no one will ever get this thing again. Let's just hide this somewhere else and never open it. Why? How? How did they fucking get it? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would you even allow that to be a possibility? It doesn't make sense. You and Shin are like the only people, you, Shin, and Baba are the only living people that actually witnessed the carnage of King Piccolo. Have some brains? I don't know. The fucking fortune teller Baba is literally the connection between the spirit world and the material world. I don't know, maybe she could just fucking chuck it in a box, like an extra dimensional box somewhere? Apparently not. So now King Piccolo is here. King Piccolo wants to annihilate the entire world because he got put away by a martial artist. Well, he wants to conquer the world and he wants to kill all martial artists. because they're literally the only people that can stand in his way. Conventional weaponry does not affect him at all. At this point, we've seen people be bruised by bullets and shit before, and fire actually be a little scary still. No, nothing works on King Piccolo. No conventional weaponry whatsoever works on him. There's not a damn thing that these world governments can do. It's like, all right, send all the martial artists at him for some reason. I know we have nukes. The issue is he might survive a nuke, and we won't. Yajirobe also gets introduced at this point. After Goku gets his ass handed to him by Tambourine, Yajirobe shows up, somehow stronger than Goku. That's never explained. I mean, I guess he's been living in the woods possibly his entire life. So was Goku. And Goku's been training really hard at this point. I don't know, maybe Yajirobe just has cracked potential. I don't fucking know. The exact same as he was in Super. Lazy and obsessed with food. Like a Saiyan if they had no work ethic. Fucking King Piccolo, once he actually meets up with Goku, dog walks him. Absolutely fucking destroys him. This was a dude that gave a young Master Roshi, Master Shin, and Roshi's master a hard time. They had to invent a sealing technique just to get this guy the fuck off their planet, because no one could even touch him. After the second time that Goku gets I don't know, maybe it was only once. I don't give a fuck. Regardless, in their second fight as well, he also kind of gets shit on. But he taps into the fucking power of the Ozaru or some shit and goes monkey without going monkey, and then punches a hole in Piccolo's chest. Not too hard. Yeah, not too hard for Goku. What they realized eventually is that, hey, Kami is still alive. Also, I didn't really talk about Kami. Fucking Kami. Kami is God. He's the guardian of Earth. The fucking lives on top of Korin's tower over the lookout. He is the second half of Piccolo. When Piccolo and Kami were one, they were called the Nameless Namekian that were sent to Namek. He was training to be a martial artist under Earth's previous guardian, I believe, but to become a guardian, you have to be 100% pure. And Kami was not, so he had to expel the evil from him, which ended up manifesting as King Piccolo. And they were like, hey, if Piccolo dies, I die, but you gotta kill Piccolo, so you don't really have a choice here. I gotta die. So after they kill King Piccolo, it's like, hey, Kami's still here. Maybe Kami was wrong. It's like, no, Piccolo ain't dead. He's got his reincarnation coming. In 3 years, you better be ready, Goku, because this boy is gonna beat your ass. And it's like, okay, I thought I already took care of this motherfucker. No, you didn't. You did, but you didn't. Alright? You gotta fucking put lay some hands on this boy, alright? When he comes, in like 3 years, you gotta fucking lay down the law, alright? You gotta lay down the fucking law, alright? So, eventually, the 3 years later, I think it was 3 years, they started doing it 3 years separately. The 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai comes around. After this, Goku's an adult now. Goku's he's big. He hit the growth spurt, started hitting the weights. Kind of fucking hot now. He's tall now, not a tiny little kid. 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai comes around. Everyone's like, hey, that tall, that 6 foot fucking green guy kind of looks familiar, you know? Even though everyone saw King Piccolo completely rampaging the entire world 3 years ago, that guy kind of looks familiar. Tien Shenhan is literally the only one that actually walks up to Goku and he's like, hey, is that one of Piccolo's children? And then Goku's like, yeah, Piccolo's children. Yeah, definitely not Piccolo himself. Yeah. So they're like, okay, why is he in the tournament? Should we just handle him now? What if he is he trying to bring back Piccolo? Is he trying to just redeem honor for Piccolo? What the fuck's going on here? Maybe we should just take him out now. And then Goku's like, no. No. No, don't do that. He's like, why? Why not? He's like, just don't. Just don't do that. Alright? I know Piccolo's other kids were kind of pushovers at the stage of strength that we're at right now. Don't touch him. I'll deal with him. I'm like, chill, Goku, what the fuck? So, Goku and Piccolo are pretty Piccolo Jr., I should say, actually. He's 3 years old. he is fucking 3 years old. Piccolo Jr. is pretty equal to Goku's strength at this level, at this time, because he is just the reincarnation of Piccolo. He is. So he has King Piccolo's power level, and then he started training on top of that. So, yeah, it's King Piccolo, but worse. This version of King Piccolo is just as cocky and just as malevolent as the previous King Piccolo. The only difference is Goku let him live. So he's like, I'm gonna get you, and then he like backflips away after Goku kicks his ass, and then he backflips away. That's Dragon Ball. It definitely becomes way more about fighting later in the Dragon Ball show. I still love it. That might be my favorite. OG Dragon Ball might be my favorite anime. The transformations, the screaming, the epicness of Dragon Ball Z and Super are there. They don't go away. The roided out screams of these guys just transforming and shaking the multiverse doesn't disappear. It's all still there and it's all still cool as fuck. But what there was for me to latch onto their characters in Super and actually start loving these characters is nothing compared to what was shown in Dragon Ball. My favorite characters now are Tien Shinhan and Yamcha. I love Tien Shinhan and Yamcha. I mean, Tien started being my favorite character in Dragon Ball Abridged because of the Kikoho. Fucking, it's incredible. I love it so much. I am not through a ton of Z, but I kind of have the overview up to the Cell Saga, but I am watching through actual Dragon Ball Z on Crunchyroll right now. I don't expect that I will make a video discussing Dragon Ball Z once I've actually watched it. Frieza sucks. Fucking hate Frieza. I'll just say, fucking hate Frieza. Cell just wanted to fight. Teen Gohan was cool. It sucked when he stopped being strong. And then the Buu Saga was wasted potential for a lot of characters. Yeah. That's my opinion on Dragon Ball Z so far. Before I actually get into it, and just from my knowledge of it, and from what I've seen about it, I do love the character development of Vegeta in the Buu Saga. I will say that. His sacrifice was 100% in vain, though, because it just got undone in the next episode, which, upsetting. It's whatever. Aider. I should mention Android 8. Because I actually loved Android 8, and I got really sad when he was no longer showing up after the Piccolo Saga. I fucking love Aider. Why can't I say that? Aider. Goku calls Android 8 Aider. Android 8 is the first android that is shown from the Red Ribbon Army, I believe. I believe he's the first android. He has to be. There's no other androids in Dragon Ball, I don't think. Anyway. Ader is a pacifist android, even though he just could fucking mollywalk some people, alright? Android 8 definitely has the power to back up his beliefs, but that's kind of the point of his character. The point of his character is, yes, I'm strong, but mercy. Using my strength and my abilities to help people through pacifism rather than fighting. One of the first people to actually introduce into the mind of Goku that, yeah, you're strong and doing good is good, but being good doesn't help if you don't know when to have mercy. And it doesn't always apply, because Kid Goku was catching bodies a lot. Fucking the Red Ribbon Saga, when he actually just decimates the Red Ribbon base, is a perfect example of this. Kid Goku was a fucking menace. But that's a lesson that I think really stuck with Goku. Obviously, examples like Ten Shinhan and Piccolo Jr. are there. And without those two, we literally wouldn't have Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z would not be the same without Ten Shinhan and Piccolo Jr. Who would raise Gohan while Goku is dead if not for Piccolo? Yeah. Oh, Grandpa Gohan. Grandpa Gohan. Now we're gonna go back to Grandpa Gohan rather than Baby Gohan. Grandpa Gohan raised Goku. That's pretty much the crux of the character. Grandpa Gohan raised Goku, gave him the 4-star Dragon Ball before he died, which is the entire point of the Dragon Ball show. Goku is going with Bulma to help collect the Dragon Balls. After she makes her wish, he's gonna go out, he's gonna find the 4-star Dragon Ball, bring it back to his place, and retire, which never happens. He does get the 4-star Dragon Ball multiple times, and then it gets taken away from him, and then he goes out and gets it back, which is why Dragon Ball stays an adventure show, because he's always out trying to get the 4-star Dragon Ball. Grandpa Gohan, for being such an integral part of the story, being the one who raised Goku to be who he is, being a student of Master Roshi himself, doesn't show up until episode like 75. Yeah, Grandpa Gohan does not actually appear until the Fortune Teller Baba Saga, which is in the 70s of the episodes. It's not telling me which fucking episode it is, but I remember it being fucking a long ways away. I know Grandpa Gohan. I knew Grandpa Gohan was a huge part of raising Goku. His son is fucking named after him. I knew Goku accidentally killed Grandpa Gohan before I went into the Dragon Ball show. And it didn't get explained on who Grandpa Gohan was. He didn't make an appearance. An actual appearance until episode 75. It never showed the backstory of the monster killing Grandpa Gohan. I was extremely disappointed about that, because I went into the Dragon Ball show already knowing who Grandpa Gohan was. So I was really confused when I was like a little more than halfway I was not halfway through the show. I was like a third or fourth of the way through, and I'm like, hey, they haven't really showed Grandpa Gohan at all. And I knew they were supposed to, or at least he should make an appearance, because he's pretty connected to he's a good person. He went to heaven, and people in heaven who are good usually get to keep their bodies. So I was like, it's a little weird that they haven't shown him at all, and they've only made passing comments about him. And then he finally showed up. It took them fucking like 70 episodes though. That was a little upsetting. He was like, I waited so long for Grandpa Gohan, and he appeared for 1 arc. It's barely anything. It's fine. It's whatever. I've gone on this tirade of a rant for no reason. Not for no reason. I don't know. I wanted to talk about my experience with Dragon Ball, and actually going back and watching the Dragon Ball show. No one's gonna care what I have to say. This was an incoherent mess. Next time I do one of these, I need to make an actual fucking script that I can follow, Jesus. Yeah, no one's gonna care about this tirade that I went on, but it's whatever. I like Dragon Ball. I like Dragon Ball a lot. And I guess this is mostly a PSA. If you like Dragon Ball, go watch the OG Dragon Ball show. Please. Please, pretty please. It's incredible. You'll love it. There's literally no reason not to go watch it, unless you just straight up don't have the time, or don't have a way to watch it, but fucking, you can figure it out. I know you can. I believe in you. I believe in you, please. Give it a chance. And if you don't like Super, you'll probably like OG Dragon Ball. If you like comedic adventure anime, it doesn't like heavily involve itself in like just the fighting and martial arts aspect until like a little later in the show. It pretty much stays an adventure comedy through most of it. And then once it makes the shift over to Dragon Ball Z, it becomes like mostly fighting. So if you don't like that, you'll probably enjoy the original Dragon Ball series. I did. And I like fighting a lot. There was a good amount of fighting, but it was a lot of also world building and understanding the world that Dragon Ball is actually set in, understanding the characters more. Is there anything else I want to say? If you've watched GT, I know Ader appears in GT, but he dies. So I'm upset about that. Give me more fucking give me more Android 18. Not 18. Give me more Android fucking 8. I need Android 8. Please. Please. Just give me what I want. I haven't watched Daima either. So, just a heads up, I guess. I don't fucking... I'm specifically waiting for the dubs. Since I was on the topic of also just anime earlier, I watch the dubs. I don't watch the subs. I do like, it's not that I don't like the subs. The Japanese voice actors are incredibly talented individuals. And I know a lot of things do sound better in when the Japanese voice actor says it. For Bleach, for example, when Ichigo says Bankai in Japanese versus English, it sounds so much better in Japanese. It sounds so much better with the original voice actor. It really does. There's not the oomph that it needs when the English voice actor says it. They're both good, but I like to watch anime when I'm doing other things. I like to watch anything when I'm doing other things. So if I look away for a minute and I miss all the exposition because I fucking couldn't read it, then I can't. Since I'm on the topic of Dragon Ball, I have read the manga though. Moro and Through the Granola arc. I love the Moro arc. I know the Moro arc will probably never actually get animated into its own series. Give us like 2 movies, please. There's so much content in the Moro arc, it's not gonna fit in a movie. Give us like either a trilogy of the Moro arc in movie form. Give us like 2 movies where you take out a lot of the unnecessary information. But please do something with it. Fucking Vegeta goes to Yardrat to learn Spirit Fission. Goku finally gets a hold of Ultra Instinct. Maris is introduced. The fucking it's all really good. There's a lot of really good characters in it. The fucking Grand Supreme Kai gets introduced. These are characters and things that are going to be really important if you want to move forward with the story of Dragon Ball. So it just seems necessary for you to do for anime only watchers. Just give us a movie or something, at least. You'll make so much money if you'd make a movie. Granola arc as well. Ultra fucking Ego is introduced there. Give my boy Vegeta a fucking dub, alright? He's not gonna get a dub. But make him look cool. I've wanted to see Ultra Ego animated for so long, and the fan animations of Ultra Ego are fucking incredible. You guys put so much love into your movies. The Broly movie was fucking off the chain. I love the Broly movie and the way that it's animated. I love Dragon Ball Superhero. That's a really good movie. I actually love the art style of Dragon Ball Super Heroes. The Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo. I'm so happy that Orange Piccolo I'm so happy Piccolo got a transformation. And I was talking about this with one of my friends. Because it kind of looks like Piccolo just has eyeliner and makeup. It's his goth transformation. Orange Piccolo is just Piccolo's goth transformation, and you cannot tell me otherwise. But I'm so glad fucking Piccolo finally got something that allows him to keep up. He deserved it. He needed it. He needed a boost in power. He's had his potential unlocked in the past, but you just can't keep up with Saiyans unless you have your own transformation. So now he just is straight up the legendary Super Namekian. I think that's pretty funny. Okay. There that goes. Yeah, the legendary Super Namekian. That's fine. And is there anything else I want to talk about? You need to introduce Granola. We could have like a really short series like Daima, introducing like exposition for Granola, and then head into a Granola movie, or we could do a 2-part movie. But the Granola arc's a lot shorter than the Moral arc. There's way more going on in the Moral arc than there is the Granola arc. But we need something for them. Because anime-only viewers can't be left behind with all these fucking transformations. I need to see Ultra Ego animated. I want to see Gas animated. Gas is fucking sick. Gas is sick. Granola's sick. They gotta have a Black Frieza debut in the anime. Dragon Ball is sick. I can't wait for the manga to start back up. I might actually go back and read the Moro and Granola arc because I loved them so much. I wanted to talk about like some of the differences in the manga as well. But because this is running so long already, I'm just gonna talk about one thing that I mentioned earlier, is when Roshi actually becomes important and shows how incredible he is. In the manga, Roshi doesn't really fight Jiren, but he has a showing against Jiren. And Roshi's ability to read moves, even though he doesn't really have the speed, he doesn't really have the strength to be able to keep up with these universal heavy hitters, his 300 years of experience and wisdom actually shows in the manga just as well in the anime. It's Roshi's small little arc in the Tournament of Power. I do really like in the anime. But in the manga, Roshi straight up fucking dodges Jiren's punches. Straight up. Little old man dodges Jiren's punches. Someone above a god of destruction. Yeah. Fucking wild. And I just wanted to throw that little tidbit in there. That's a difference between the anime and the manga that is really important for understanding Roshi. And as much as a pervert as he is, it's very important to understand that he is still a martial arts master and has more experience than anyone in the cast so far, save for Beerus. But Beerus isn't a martial artist. He just is the most powerful being in the 7th universe. Unless Black Frieza's that now. Who knows? But Beerus also talks about him training and having to keep... He's not a moving goalpost as well. I just want to say that real quick. He's not a moving goalpost. He saw how strong the Saiyans were getting and actually starting to train a little bit. He's more active than he has been. How fucking old is Beerus? He goes on really long hiatuses and naps because there's no one ever to challenge him. There's no reason for him to stay awake because he could just wake up and do his job. He can go on like 1,000-year-old naps. 39 years was a short nap for him. 75 million years ago, he sealed the Elder Kai. So he's at least 75 million years old. Wild. And when you're that stationary for that long, your power kind of remains stagnant. Like, yeah, he would have no reason to train. He has a reason to train now. He's got pupils under him. And he wants them to be he wants at least one of them to be as strong as possible. He wants to retire at some point. Probably. He taught Vegeta the power of destruction for a reason. Vegeta is currently the God of Destruction candidate. This was even discussed in the show. Whis was like, hey, I will take you on as a student if you agree to train to be the next God of Destruction. That's just what Beerus is doing. Beerus is training the next generation. So yeah, of course he's a moving goalpost. But he's not. You know? He's been the strongest creature in this entire universe for over millennia. He understands the basic building blocks of Ultra Instinct. He is, in the anime, or even in the manga, because you actually get to see the Destroyer Gods fight each other in a battle royale, one of the strongest fucking Gods of Destruction. They all ganged up on him in the beginning, and he dodged all of their attacks and was one of the last two standing. He's not a moving goalpost. He just was the strongest for so long that he didn't, even among the Gods of Destruction, that he had literally no reason to train. He reached the pinnacle, and then he saw two mortals who were Saiyans. He didn't realize, you don't realize a Saiyan's potential until you can actually see it, and it's like, holy fuck, these Saiyans in 40, almost 50 years can get close to my power. This mortal has nearly mastered the technique of the angels. This mortal is already learning how to become a destroyer and has abilities and strengths that before he knew the destruction technique and before he had ultra ego, beat the shit out of another God of Destruction candidate, Topo, and was able to help Goku fend off Moro, who fought the Grand Supreme Kai. Like I don't know. They're the reason that he needs to train, because they need to be properly prepared and given the right tools to actually inherit the universe once Beerus decides he wants to retire. That's how I feel, anyway. I don't think he's a moving goalpost. I've seen a lot of people say he's just a moving goalpost and his power is going to change forever. That's what happens when you train. That's literally the basis of Dragon Ball. Yeah. Maybe his potential is also just cracked. And he doesn't need to train a lot, you know? This dude used to sleep for thousands of years at a time. He's 75 million years old. Training gets boring. Being the strongest gets boring. And then he wasn't bored anymore. So he started working. That's just how I feel about it. I have so many tangents, so many tirades. Fuck, I need to end this right now. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.